Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we re-diving into a topic that is super important for anyone who wants to get closer to the original biblical texts. We're talking about which Bible translations are the closest to the original Hebrew. You might be surprised to learn that not all translations are created equal. Some take more liberties, while others try to stick as literally as possible to the ancient manuscripts. So, if you've ever wondered if your Bible is giving you the most accurate picture, you're in the right place. Let's uncover the 3 best translations that bring you as close as possible to the Hebrew originals. Before we jump into our top 3, let's quickly talk about why this even matters. The Old Testament was written primarily in Hebrew with a few parts in Aramaic. Hebrew is a rich, nuanced language full of wordplay, poetry, and cultural context that can sometimes get lost in translation. Think of it like watching a foreign film with subtitles. You get the main idea, but you might miss the subtle jokes or cultural references that a native speaker would instantly understand. The same is true for the Bible. Different translation committees have different philosophies. Some aim for a word-for-word translation, which is called formal equivalence. This is great for deep study because it's very precise, but it can sometimes sound a bit clunky in English. Others go for a thought-for-thought translation or dynamic equivalence. These versions are often easier to read because they focus on conveying the overall meaning, but they might sacrifice some of the original phrasing and structure. There's no single best translation for everyone. It really depends on what you're looking for: readability or literal accuracy. Today, we're focusing on the ones that prioritize literal accuracy to the Hebrew. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 3 is the New American Standard Bible, or the NASB. Many scholars and pastors consider the NASB to be one of the most literal, word-for-word translations available in modern English. The translation team for the NASB had a very clear goal: to be as faithful as possible to the original Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek manuscripts. They really prioritize formal equivalence. This means when you read the NASB, you're getting a very close representation of the sentence structure and word choices of the original authors. For example, the NASB is known for its consistent rendering of Hebrew verbs, which is crucial for understanding the flow of a narrative or the logic of an argument. Now, because it's so literal, the NASB isn't always the smoothest read. The English can feel a bit wooden at times. But for serious study, it's an incredible tool. It allows you to see the underlying structure of the Hebrew text without needing to learn the language yourself. If you're doing a word study or trying to understand the precise meaning of a passage, the NASB is a fantastic resource. The latest update, the NASB 2020, has made some minor adjustments to modernize some of the language, making it a little more readable than its 1995 predecessor while still holding on to its reputation for literal accuracy. So, if you want a translation that holds your hand and guides you as close as possible to the Hebrew text, the NASB is an excellent choice. Alright, moving on to our number 2 pick. This one might surprise a few of you. It's the English Standard Version, or the ESV. The ESV was first published in 2001, and it has quickly become a favorite for many. Its philosophy is what it calls essentially literal. It tries to find a sweet spot between the strict, word-for-word approach of the NASB and the more thought-for-thought style of other translations like the NIV. The ESV is based on the Revised Standard Version, or RSV, which has a long and respected history tracing back to the King James Version. But the ESV translators went back to the original Hebrew manuscripts to ensure accuracy. So what makes the ESV so good for getting close to the Hebrew? It does a great job of capturing the literary beauty and power of the original text while remaining highly accurate. It's often praised for its handling of Old Testament poetry, like the Psalms and Proverbs. It manages to preserve much of the poetic structure and imagery without sounding awkward in English. This is a huge win because so much of the Old Testament is poetry. The ESV is also very transparent. The translators often include footnotes to show you alternative renderings or to explain where a particular Hebrew word has a range of possible meanings. This is incredibly helpful because it acknowledges the complexity of translation and invites you, the reader, into the process. It's a fantastic all-around translation, accurate enough for deep study, yet readable enough for daily devotions. It strikes a balance that many people find perfect. And now, for our number one Bible translation that is closest to the Hebrew originals, drum roll, please. It's the Lexham English Bible, or the LEB. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, the what? The LEB is not as well known as the NASB or ESV, but for those in the know, it's a game changer. The Lexham English Bible was produced by Logos Bible Software, and its primary goal is to be a transparent window into the original languages. It was designed specifically for study. The LEBs is a digital-first approach and is extremely literal, sometimes even more so than the NASB. What makes the LEB truly unique is its extensive use of brackets and explanatory notes. When you read the LEB, you'll see words in brackets. These are words that are explicitly in the original Hebrew text, but are implied or necessary for the English sentence to make sense. This level of transparency is unparalleled. It lets you see exactly what the translators added to make the text readable in English. It's like having a mini commentary built right into the text. For example, in Hebrew, you can have a complete sentence with just a verb. In English, you need a subject. The LEB will add that subject in brackets, so you know it was supplied by the translators. This gives you an incredible amount of insight into the original language. Because of this extreme literalness, the LEB can be challenging to read straight through. It's not designed for casual reading or for reading aloud in a church service. It's a study Bible through and through. But if your goal is to get as close as humanly possible to the Hebrew text without being a Hebrew scholar, there's no better tool in the English language than the Lexham English Bible. It peels back the layers of translation and lets you engage with the biblical text in a much deeper, more analytical way. It truly is a hidden gem for anyone serious about understanding the Old Testament in its original context. So there you have it, our top 3 Bible translations for getting as close as possible to the original Hebrew. To recap, we have the New American Standard Bible, a long-standing champion of word-for-word accuracy. Then there's the English Standard Version, which offers a beautiful balance of literal translation and literary readability. And finally, the Lexham English Bible, a powerful study tool that provides unmatched transparency into the original language. Remember, the best translation really depends on your goals. For daily reading, something like the ESV or even the NIV might be more enjoyable. But for deep, intensive study of the Old Testament, the NASB and LEB are in a class of their own. I encourage you to check them out. Many are available for free on Bible websites and apps, so you can compare them for yourself. See which one helps you connect more deeply with the Word. What's your go-to Bible translation? Do you have a favorite that we didn't mention? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. We're all on this journey of discovery together, and sharing our tools and insights helps us all grow. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.